we've got a couple baseball songs.
There's a lot of baseball songs. So Konami made a baseball game at one point, and then there was a baseball-themed event. So there's a lot of songs that directly have something to do with baseball, and there are other ones from the baseball event that don't really have anything to do with baseball, but are still considered baseball songs. But the ones that most people know about, you have a couple 14s, Yaku, which is the rules and history of baseball, Mind Game, and then in the 15s we have Stella Sinistra. I'm not sure if there's any other 15s, but then we have 9, the song 9.
Beanball.
Beanball.
Can't forget Beanball.
I feel like there might be a few more missing, but that's a lot of them.
Yeah, I forgot that 9 was baseball.
Yeah, they have, they're both wearing like baseball hats.
Baseball caps. Yeah. It's so intense. It's
it
like,
is.
They're singing about baseball there?
You know, I'm actually not sure what they're singing about. I just hear a lot of yelling. I'm not sure what it
Yeah, it is
actual
screaming.
Words. I like to imagine that they're just shouting 9. Just like, 9!
9! It's kind of what it sounds like at the beginning. All right, so now we're transitioning to some new faces that we haven't yet seen in tournament, including our very own tournament organizer.
We finally have our TO up here.
Which is always exciting, which is very corrupt of him to be playing in the tournament.
Yes, we have Sirius and Old Donk. Looks like they're probably going to get started with a warm-up here before moving into their matches. All right, and you can see our card draw down below. So after we get through our warm-up song, we're going to have tokyoEVOLVED Type 1, protected by Sirius, and then Old Donk rejecting roppongi evolved ver.C. I know Old Donk is very comfortable with the roppongi, so that makes sense that he would protect that. And then our tiebreaker, if it comes down to it, will be high and low. You can see our players choosing to play their warm-up song in different difficulties, which again, each person has their own strat, what they're comfortable with as their first song of the day. You know, some people just really want to jump right into harder songs to get their legs moving. Some people need a little bit slower of a warm-up, but you know yourself best.
Yeah, I think for a song like Tokyo coming out and being so tricky to time, I'm not surprised that Sirius is focusing on the timing in this warm-up. But I am definitely somebody who wants to focus more on my legs moving, and it seems like that's what Old Donk is thinking as well.
But also looking at their song draw, probably the most stamina-intensive song out of these is High and Low, and that being the third song, they are going to have the other two songs to kind of warm up with to get to that.
Yeah, and Roppongi is actually a good warm-up song too. Not version C, but Roppongi has some good little drills in there. It kind of warms you up at the beginning of the song. It's not too intense, but definitely will get you warm for something like High and Low, which is just like 40 BPM faster.
Yes.
But yeah, Tokyo is going to be very interesting to see here. Type 1 is, I guess, one of the most straightforward of the Tokyos, but not the best synced.
Right. Yeah, mild as far as gimmicks go, but definitely hard to dial into. And No Bar Band, going back to talking about the baseball song, like the song 9. To me, it sounds like they're saying 9, like the English 9, as opposed to the Japanese Q. But again, I have no idea what they're actually saying. I'm just making up what I think I hear.
And that's really all that matters.
Right.
Yeah, there are some of those songs where trying to figure out what they're singing is futile.
Yeah.
Such as Amara. And in fact, if you go on Remy Wiki and you look up what the lyrics are to Amara, it doesn't list any.
Probably because no one's been able to figure it out.
Yeah, it's like, why even try?
But you know what, that's the infamous Pawn lyric style. Like, he tends to do that where he has this, I don't even know what kind of effect to call it that he puts on his vocals, but it's a really unique effect. You hear in a lot of Pawn's songs that he sings on, like that, Anniversary, and you either like it or you don't. I actually think it's a really cool effect, and I like the sound of it.
For sure. All right, I'm excited to see Tokyo and Roppongi. We've got a couple Japanese cities in this set.
We sure do. And definitely tricky songs.
Great score for Sirius. Personal best.
Oh, yes. And this was Sirius's Protect, so he, you can imagine, is very comfortable with this song. You can see who has the area record on here. My fellow commentator sitting next to me, Duncan.
Hey, I wasn't going to say it.
So I understand why you like this song.
I wouldn't say I like it.
I'm reading more about song lyrics, and Sheep Muffles is talking about for tokyoEVOLVED. Apparently the lyrics about a god who's possessed someone in the village, and the priestess is trying to figure out who it is.
There are so many lyrics in that song.
That's so interesting. I did not know any of that.
So like the beginning of that song where it's doing the step jumps on all those beats is like a different syllable.
Really? I'm going to have to look up the lyrics now.
It's basically a rap.
That's awesome.
But the only thing that I can actually tell what they're saying is Tokyo Shinwa.
Yes.
At the beginning you hear Tokyo Shinwa. Oh, all right, there's something. So getting back into this, it looks like we're actually really tight at the start. Granted, we haven't hit the gimmicks yet, which can mess some people up. But really solid, locked-in play from both of these players right out of the gate.
Getting a little bit of slows on both sides, but otherwise it doesn't seem like they're struggling with the sync too much.
Both of them hitting those tail jumps, too.
Yeah, those are so tough. Okay, Sirius getting a pretty good lead. Again, this was his pick, so he's definitely comfortable with the song. Old Donk is obviously familiar with it. He's doing pretty well. Of course, gets a miss as soon as I say that, but definitely knows what's going on.
You don't know what you're talking about. And so right there's actually an interesting moment where the speed changes by like 5 BPM for one note.
Yeah, and those are so tricky.
We love when they do that. That's DDR stuff in a nutshell.
Yeah, and you can see Sirius is very dialed in. I'm seeing lots of marvelouses on his side.
Excellent job getting through that Scooby run.
All right, Sirius is going to pretty comfortably take that first win.
It's feeling good.
That's free. And it's pretty good for tokyoEVOLVED.
Yeah, Old Donk didn't like that song. He is. You can see it in the screen. He's not happy with Tokyo.
But we are going to be moving into another Evolved song, which very much does favor Old Donk. He is very comfortable with the roppongis. I think he knows all of them inside and out. So I can imagine he's been pretty happy that Roppongi Type C showed up on there.
And so the Roppongi C actually falls into what we were talking about earlier with electronic or treat, where people will often prepare for the most gimmicky thing, which is Roppongi D.
Yes.
Or they will know the easiest things, which are Roppongi A and B. Roppongi C is that kind of awkward middle ground where there's something gimmicky about it, but not gimmicky enough that people are thinking, oh, these are the ones I need to train for. So I think this is the kind of tournament pick that can really take somebody by surprise.
Definitely. It's one of those ones you don't think to really practice, but if you don't remember what the middle of Roppongi C does, that might catch you off guard.
Yeah, coming into the stop in Roppongi C before it goes into the slowdown portion, there is one really tricky crossover run, and I wouldn't be surprised if Sirius ends up double-stepping that kind of out of a shock and surprise. I don't know how well he knows the Roppongis. He didn't see a score on the screen there for it, but that is definitely a place where you see a lot of players who haven't played Roppongi C in a while forget that crossover is there. And interestingly, though, Old Donk was actually the one who missed that first crossover at the beginning.
And you know what? The beginning of Roppongi catches me, any of them, because they all start the same way, but it catches me off guard every time. I know it's there, but I'm just not ready for it.
Yeah.
And I have to imagine that that's probably what happened to Old Donk as well.
Yeah, especially in tournament, it's really easy when you're so focused on like all the things going on around you to just like miss one of those little moments.
Yeah. But it looks like Old Donk is definitely dialed in now that we got past the beginning part. The familiarity is probably setting in for him. So here's the real unique part of C is these kind of crossover freeze arrow parts, and then we move into a slowdown section, which is kind of very different from the rest of the Roppongis.
Yeah. Here's that crossover moment. Yep, and you see Old Donk cross that over, and it looks like Sirius, although he double-stepped it, fully nailed it.
But yeah, Sirius actually has a pretty good lead on this.
Yeah, it was wrong of me to think that Sirius was anything less than prepared on this song.
Okay, now we're moving into the ending. A little bit of a syncopation. Looks like Sirius just looked back at the camera. I did not quite catch what face he gave us, though.
It almost felt like he was He heard me speaking, turned around, and called me out saying,
I got
what
this.
do you think?
Oh, it looks like old Donk made a mistake and realized he can't catch up, so he's just going to let Sirius have this song win.
Phenomenal play by Sirius.
Really, really good.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Wow, really, really good showing for both of them.
Yeah, Sirius came to play.
Yeah.
And also to run a tournament.
Yeah, he's doing both.
Yeah, he's going to hop off this pad and he's going to go back to the table. He's going to help other people with card draw. How you can focus on all those things, I do not know.
Yeah, so we'll be seeing more of old Donk. That was his first match of the day. Imagine he's probably needed a little bit to warm up, so
yeah.
We'll see how his next match goes now that he's got a few songs under his belt.
All right, and we see the return of Vid, who's promoted from the previous pool.
Yes, so
Very
awesome
exciting.
job to them. He's definitely been performing really, really well and deserves his placement up into the next pool. Okay, so we got a new player coming up, Misuc with Vid. So we're going to have a warm-up song since Misuc has not played yet today.
Now, Misuc I've only seen play once before, and that was at Eclipse last year in December. And it was the first time that I had seen Misuc and was really impressed. I think promoted through first match. Having never seen him before and then just absolutely blowing me out of the water. He is a really, really strong player. But I think relatively new to the scene.
Yeah, I feel like he's another one of those players that kind of flies under the radar a bit, you know, being a little newer to the scene. A lot of players don't know how good he is, and that could work to his advantage.
You're going to the 12 folder for a warm-up.
I feel like 12s are a pretty popular warm-up level to play. You know, it gets you moving without tiring you out.
Here's one of those pop songs we were talking about, the American licenses.
Yeah.
I've seen this has been pretty popular in the arcade as well over the last few years.
Yeah, it's another one that's honestly really fun to play.
Yeah, it has such a strong beat in it too.
And synced pretty well, as far as, you know, we were mentioning before, sometimes these American licenses don't have the greatest sync on it, but this one synced very well.
And it's also a fun music video. You get to watch the guy eating the marshmallow sandwich in the cafeteria.
Have you ever had a marshmallow sandwich?
I have, yeah, peanut butter and fluff.
Fluffernutter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love those.
It's a Pennsylvania classic.
Is
I
it?
guess Ohio as well. Maybe it's just this region.
Yeah, when you think about it, Pittsburgh and Cleveland, I mean, I know you have people that hate the other city just because of rivalries and sports, but we really are kind of the same area.
Right.
Pittsburgh is just a more mountainous Cleveland.
It's a more mountainous Cleveland. Instead of a lake, it has a Monongahela. And instead of 2 buildings, it has 20.
Hey, we got more than 2 buildings now. we have like 3.5.
And the guy who ate the marshmallow sandwich at the beginning is feeling like a fool. Because over the course of this song, we see that everybody is now on the same team as Marshmallow.
So interesting, I'm noticing that Misuc is not playing with the darkest filter behind his arrows, which I don't think I've ever seen anybody in a competitive setting not use the darkest filter.
Yeah, he also does arrows behind combo. So really just trying to make it as hard as possible to read for himself. But for some people, it works.
Yeah, for some people, it honestly doesn't even affect them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think of top players like Chunka.
Yes.
Chunka does arrows behind and sometimes doesn't even put on note and just works.
Yeah, some people it just really doesn't affect, and they can play ways that, you know, other players look at and be like, how can they do that? But you know what? They're good enough.
Yeah, think about
better.
Big Matt not using fast slow.
Right.
Whatever works for you.
Okay, so our first song of the match is going to be Procyon. Pretty straightforward 15.
Yeah.
Gets a little tricky near the end of the song. So it's probably going to come down to there. I imagine it'll be pretty close up until that point. Definitely going to be a battle of the MA between the two of these players, though.
Yeah, and Tsukasa, I don't really know of any other songs by this artist.
I actually don't either.
But I really like Procyon, so I'd be happy to see more.
Yeah, definitely.
Really strong start from both of these.
Yeah, you can see they just immediately come out the gate locked in. And obviously the lack of a darker background filter does not affect Misuc whatsoever.
Yeah, if you
Very
didn't know who
comfortable.
Misuc was before, you're looking at this and you know who he is now.
Yes. No, very dialed in. I can just see the focus on both their faces.
Yeah, Misuc making it to 142 before getting his first perfect, which on a 15 in tournament.
Yeah, first official song. So he's got a pretty good lead, and you know, Vid's doing really well as well. Misuc is just not giving any mistakes for him to catch up with.
Right, if you're currently in single-digit perfects this far into the song, it's going to be real tough to compete with that.
Yes.
I am really excited to see how Misuc takes in the rest of this song. He's just so dialed in. Look at that.
Yeah, just so
MFC'd
clean.
that run. A little bit of a crossover flub there, but only one grade out of it. Still so locked into the timing window.
Right, and it's going to get a little tricky here.
Both of them really hitting double steps on those really well.
Yeah.
My goodness.
And this is getting at the speed where it's starting to get a little bit more difficult to hit those double steps. But Misuc just took a fantastic lead with about 30 EX or so over Vid. So 25 and 2 is very good. So yeah, he looked like he was right in his element there. Was very comfortable with that. And we're going to be moving into another song we've already seen twice today.
Yeah, heading back to the Toy Box
Right.
Factory.
It's just so you all can revisit the mental image I was painting for you earlier, in
That's
case
right.
you didn't get a chance to.
Before the song even starts, get the clown in your head.
We're sending out cake at the kids' birthday party, getting ready to serve it all out to them.
That's right.
It's such a fun song, though. Again, it's got the Sweets background.
Yeah, and this time we have dual rages dancing.
Say dual rages dancing on a cake.
Sounds like a perfect birthday to me. Yeah, these are two players where I think their strong suit is in their marvelous attack.
Definitely.
And both of them are absolutely nailing it right now, only one step away.
Yeah, they're very strong in the MA department, so it's going to really come down to who is making mistakes, and those drills are going to be the point for that. They've had a little bit of a lead actually over Misuc, but they are really, really close to each other. Only 6 EX up for Vid now. Very clean on those drills.
Yeah,
Vid pulling
especially
away
Vid.
with a little bit of a lead.
Yeah, Misuc found the drill about halfway through, but the first half did drop quite a few perfects. So it is going to, I think, take finding it right away on the second drill to make sure that he can pull this back at the end of the song.
Definitely. Yeah, Vid's still with the lead, but not really a comfortable lead because any little mistake there is going to give Misuc some room to catch up.
Yep, and only 13 EX, which, as we've said, that's about 4 steps.
Right. And there's a lot more than 4 steps in that last drill.
Yes.
Picking up a grade over on Misuc's side.
All right, 11 apart.
No, and Vid didn't make a single mistake on that last
Yeah,
run.
Vid MFC's the final drill.
Wow, 28.
All right, they are just trading back and forth. Phenomenal.
They
marvelous
are.
attack. And now they get to be tested by a much more challenging chart in Come to Life
Definitely.
16, which is good sync. It is mostly an MA check, but this is a lot more tiring. There's a couple
Definitely.
crossovers in there to really trip them up, especially at the very beginning of the song.
Yes. So definitely going to bring in some stamina components with the song, where the other 2 songs we started with were more MA focused. But both of them, I imagine, would be pretty warmed up now after those 2 songs. So probably are welcoming the song order that they're playing this in.
Yeah, absolutely. Come to Life going first would have been a huge challenge, but I think they both look sweaty, they look comfortable.
Yes.
Ready to rock with crowd favorite Nicole Curry, who I have tried so hard to find other songs with her voice in
Really?
it. And I cannot for the life of me.
So we have this one and Neverland.
Yeah.
It's also Nicole Curry, correct?
Yeah. But like looking outside of it, I'm like, oh, like are there other Konami games where does she have like a solo career doing other things, and I just can't find her.
Really, I haven't actually looked, but I do really enjoy her voice. I think most people love this song. So very catchy, very fun charts if you like 16s. Yes.
If you're one of those. All right, they're going right into it. They're not taking any break. Both reading at 3.5, taking them up to 630 BPM, reading relatively fast. All right, this crossover right here.
Which they are both going to double step.
Yep. And Misuc actually kept the PFC coming out of that crossover, which is very hard to do.
So a little bit of a 16th run here that they both just nailed.
1 EX coming into the slowdown.
Yeah, so Song kind of just throws all that for you right out the bat, then gives you a little bit of a breather here, and then it's going to jump straight back into it.
All right, we're still seeing only a 3x difference between the two of them. We'll see if the chorus gives them an opportunity to pull ahead. I see 6 EX lead for Misuc right now.
Yeah, they're both looking really clean on this.
Yeah, those double step freeze arrows they are nailing. And the drills.
Which they definitely had plenty of drill practice in the previous song. Ooh, they are so close. Misuc up by 9.
No troubles with these crossovers, it looks like.
None at all. Another one of those cases where I don't know if Misuc's going to make any mistakes for Vig to catch up.
I would never count on Misuc making mistakes.
No, he is locked in. Yeah, very, very clean run.
Yeah, 21 EX lead. Given the quality of play we're seeing from both players, I think we're going to see something stay pretty similar. Hitting that last crossover too. Look at Misuc go.
Yeah, it looks like they maybe tried to double step that crossover, and Misuc just did not give him any, did not let up whatsoever.
That was phenomenal.
Yeah, really, really good show from
I think
Misuc.
that's got to be a AAA on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. Only 2 grades. 46 perfects, 2 grades on that 16.
That definitely worked in his favor. I think having those 2 15s to warm up with really helped him out.
And you can tell he likes the song. You see in the 18, he has 980 on that 18.
Ooh.
God, Misuc is scary.
Yes. Yeah, so again, one of those players kind of flies under the radar, but not for long.
Not for long, if we have anything to say about it.
Right.
Do not allow Misuc to fly under the radar any longer.
Do not sleep on Misuc.
Because he will almost PFC come to life on you in the tournament. Old Donk coming back to join Misuc on the pad. A warmed up Old Donk. We know that he looked like he struggled a little bit in the first set to, I think, find his footing. But hopefully now he is feeling a little bit stronger, feeling a little bit warmer. I see some sweat on the brow, so that's a good sign.
Yes, definitely. There's definitely a delicate balance between being warmed up and not being tired. You know, it's really hard to hit that sweet spot, especially in a tournament where you can't do things the way you normally would if you were just playing your own session at home.
Especially when you don't know how long your tournament life is going to
Right.
last. Because you want to peak to be playing at your best, but then if you get promoted into the next set, did you peak too early?
Exactly.
Or did you not peak enough and then you get knocked out in your first? So
And then you
hard.
could potentially be, you know, sitting for longer than you'd like between matches, so you might get cold again, and it's really hard to perform adequately in a tournament. So it's all the more impressive when we see people getting PBs and performing so well, because this is not under ideal circumstances.
Schrödinger no Neko. Okay, this is going to be fun. I've always thought that this sounded kind of like, it reminds me of like the Simpsons intro a little bit. Like.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Yeah, this one I just imagine like a cat like running across a piano shop.
Yeah, definitely a cat should be involved in your mental image for this song.
Okay, so this was Misuc's pick, and then Old Donk looks like got Tokyo Evolved again if they go for their second song.
All I know is that if I'm Misuc, I want this to go to game 3 because then we get to see Come to Life again.
Yes.
After that last performance,
And we
getting
all
to
know
play
how
the same. Yeah, if you play the same song twice in a tournament, that second time you like know what to do. You're already locked in.
Yeah, it looks like they're both pretty locked in this song, as it's going to build up a little bit here. And Misuc with a little bit of a lead, he just doesn't like to give anything up for his competitor to catch up to.
It's kind of mean, honestly.
He should be more considerate.
Yeah, he should be more considerate. So give him a chance. Come on.
Yeah, but I got about 30 EX lead over at Old Donk right now. Not quite halfway through the song yet.
Yeah, look at both of them. It's marvelous as across the board.
Okay, we're going to be moving into a 12th note section. Neither of them look like they're struggling with that at all, though.
And if you heard that scream, that comes from the song, not from anybody in the venue, so do not worry.
Yeah, Misuc still just holding on to that gold combo, looking very comfortable. Old Donk also doing really good with his MA, but again, Misuc's not giving him anything to work with.
And they're riding straight through these cymbal crashes. Yeah, these are both players who are nailing the swing steps.
Yes. Old Donk picking up a few grades through there. Let's see if Misuc can hold on to that gold combo for the end of the song. Okay, just another casual tournament PFC.
Yeah, don't even ask the question. You know the answer already. Of course he's going to hold on to it. 33.
Yeah, very impressive.
The crowd is loving Misuc right now.
Seeing some of our players hydrating, which chat, you guys at home, make sure you're hydrating as well. I know we're not working quite as hard as our competitors up here, but water is important. Okay, so we are going to be moving into Tokyo Evolved, I believe it was Type 2, which Old Donk had previously played Tokyo Evolved Type 1 in his last match. So I believe this one was his pick.
Okay.
We'll see if he can pull this off again.
Yeah, Tokyo 2 is one of the, I think, ones that people can kind of like forget what's going on in it.
Kind of like roppongi C.
Kind of like roppongi C. Yeah, I think it is a
the
really
middle is the one people always forget about.
Exactly, the middle child, as it were. But yeah, so this does have some weird little stop moments in the back half, but I'm guessing Old Donk is going to be pretty well prepared for it.
Yeah, so pretty comfortable with the stops in here. I don't imagine either of them will struggle too much with the gimmicks.
Let's see if they both remember that left is the step on the speed up.
Old Donk picking a miss there. Still looking pretty crispy.
Yeah. Yeah, they're relatively close. For this song, with the amount that can change, especially in the second half, they are neck and neck.
Yeah, Misuc make a little bit of a mistake there, giving Old Donk some room to catch up, so it's actually pretty close, in about 10 EX of each other.
Yeah,
even
now
closer.
even closer. It looks like they are right there, 1, 2, 3 EX away.
And sometimes that's all it takes is just needing your competitor to make one mistake to give you some room to catch up.
It's a relentless game. Okay, Misuc with a little bit of a pull away here.
Yeah, Misuc kind of taking this and running with it. He's not really making any more mistakes since that last one. I think Old Donk struggling a bit with those tail jumps near the end. Yeah, very strong showing again from Misuc. He's going to take that.
Yeah. Misuc is looking scary right now.
Yes.
He says, I am going to be coming to Tier 7. Don't you worry.
Yes. So, Tier 7, be worried. Okay, so we're going to be continuing on with some more players in Tier 6. Looks like Duncan's taking a little bit of a break here, so I have Renatus joining me on the mic.
I get to jump back on again. Ooh, I should turn that down a little bit. I am a bit louder than Duncan. I'm just setting up the card draw right now. They went ahead for this pool since Aaron, Sirius, is going to be constantly running back and forth trying to both play and run it as a TO. They drew all the matches ahead of time. I think he's primarily been trying to avoid doing that because, doesn't want people running off to study whatever chart they haven't played in, 2 weeks that they're afraid they might have forgotten.
So Renatus, you're pretty familiar with running tournaments and entering tournaments.
Sure am.
What's it like entering a tournament that you're trying to run?
It's very difficult as the tournament gets larger to do both well. Fully admit that. Like this tournament, I think we've got around 46 entrants, a little under 50 entrants.
Yes.
That's right around the maximum, I think, where you can still do a good job with both, where you're still able to focus on running the tournament efficiently while keeping yourself mentally primed to compete. But it is hard.
Yes, definitely. And they're definitely not starting with an easy song here.
Yeah. So this was Aaron's Protect. That's another thing that's hard about it. As a TO, you're on your feet all day.
Yeah.
You're not eating or hydrating well. You're not taking breaks. You're not relaxing. So it can be pretty difficult. So Sirius protecting max period, that's aggressive. I wouldn't do it.
Right, and then our second song, Remain,
Yep.
these are some of the hardest songs in those difficulty folders.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not good at speed changes. These songs are going to definitely bite you in the butt. Looks like they might have set up some setting wrong, so they're going to let this play out and restart it.
Yeah, I don't know what they did wrong.
Maybe it was a pad issue. Maybe it was just a wrong setting, but we're just going to let this file out and restart the match.
Yeah, I didn't see what happened. The only thing I can think is maybe they agreed to let themselves do that so they could set their sudden plus or stuff like that. That would make sense, since you don't really get an opportunity to do it in the song.
True. This pretty much starts right away with those jumps. Vid choosing to play with the boost strat, which is pretty common.
0.75 boost, yep.
Yeah, in songs like this, when you don't have a lot of good speed option ranges because there's such a drastic change in the speeds of the song. So boost enables you to read at different parts of the screen, either higher or lower, to effectively have multiple options of speed mods to play at.
Yeah, it's not always the best, especially if you struggle to read further from the receptors or closer to them. But it can be very helpful for things where, like Kim said, you've got to read a really wide range of BPM. There's only a handful of songs that matters for.
Yeah,
and have to stop Vid up about 30.
Yeah, so he definitely looks very comfortable with this strat. He's very clearly used this before on this song. This part's really tricky because the song is so quiet, you can't really hear what you're stepping to. You're almost making your own beat for the song at that part.
Oh, and what's playing in the background isn't what you're stepping to anyway. So. Yeah.
Yeah, Vid looking very comfortable with this. It looks like Sirius recognizes he doesn't really have enough ground to catch up, so he's going to let Vid have this. And Vid's going to play it out.
It's the good warm-up for the legs.
Very good warm-up.
Crushing it, oh my god.
Yeah, he seems very comfortable with that boost strat. That worked very, very well for him. I know he's definitely experimented with boosts on other songs, so if you can get that to work for you, that just gives you another tool in your pocket to use.
I do wish they left in the old effect for max period where it keeps playing that applause and thank you for playing.
And then the doors close.
And then it gives you the door close song and gets rid of the rest of the clear sounds.
Yes.
That's
all right, so we're moving right into Remain, another really, really tricky song. I do wonder if Vid's going to actually play with boost on this as well, since he seemed to be so comfortable with it. Although less of a speed variation from max period. This is going up to 300. Max period went up to 600 BPM.
Oh god, from the angle I'm sitting at, I couldn't quite see the scores well. I thought it said that Jed's score was 11 perfect PFC,
Ooh.
and I was saying, I was about to go, excuse me?
Now this was Vid's pick too, so he really seems to be comfortable with the speed changes in various songs.
Yeah.
Sirius is going to go ahead and use the Sun Plus strat again. but this is a very hard 15 for some people.
For most people.
Yes. And yeah, Vid is going to continue to use that boost strat that seemed to work so well for him.
Yeah, this is another one where, you know, at the slowest, you have to read a pretty extended period at 75 BPM, and then the entire ending at 300. And it's way too long and complicated to memorize either. Just picking up a miss there.
Yeah, I do think it's one of the more effective uses of boost I've seen from a player. I don't think too many people like really rely on that for a strat for a lot of different songs, but it's clearly working well for him.
Yeah, the only person I can think of is Udai.
Yeah, I know a lot of people use it for Delta Max, but I don't see it too often used on other charts. So yeah, Vid is a pretty comfortable lead right now at 20 EX over Sirius, but still a lot of song left to go. It's going to be an ending run, ending 16th note run, which could definitely go either way.
Both players getting that part, neither choosing to do that crossover.
But they will do that one, and now we're going to move into the ending section, which definitely has you do some crossovers. Or double step.
And Ged's up about 40, so he's just got to keep going. It's going to be pretty hard for Sirius to catch up on this.
Yeah, Vid also showing plus 36 right now in this PB, assuming this card has its most recent score on it.
And it probably does not. Ged'll take it by 30.
Yeah, pretty comfortable lead. Yeah, clearly showing his prowess with gimmick songs with slowdowns. But yeah, really good showing from both of them. Remembering that Sirius is also running a tournament right now, and 3 and 2 is really good on Romain. Yeah, just really had him locked in on MA and wasn't giving anything up.
All right, so what are we doing for our next match?
That's it! See you next time on the dance floor!
Okay, well, it doesn't look like it's going to be Sirius right away, which means it's probably going to be Viet and Old Donk.
Okay, so give us a minute here. You know, Sirius just finished his match. Now he's going to immediately run over and do card draw for some people. So he's running all around trying to do all kinds of things.
Me too, thanks. All right, let me get this card draw up.
Okay, so we got Vid and Old Donk coming up. I love seeing people card in with their Apple Watch. Lots of different ways you can card in. Most people have an EMU's card, but if you have a Japanese Suica card, you can use that as well. And you can also add that to your Apple Watch if you have one. And you see some players just kind of walk up, scan their wrist to the machine, and go on their merry way.
I think we're going to see some more boost strats.
Oh no, we got some more speed change songs coming up?
We sure do.
Well, Vid's definitely shown that he is one to contend with on songs with speed changes, so definitely seems to be favored to win those kind of strats.
There we go.
Ooh, yeah, you weren't kidding. Sweet Home Party definitely seems like a good pick for Vid.
DDR Megamix makes sense for Old Donk.
Yes, DDR Megamix being a compilation of old DDR songs definitely works in Old Donk's favor.
Not looking good for Old Donk's score on this card for Sweet Home Party.
Yeah, I have to imagine he's since played it on more recent DDR versions, but this is still a very hard song even if you know it. The speed changes are really hard to dial into. Especially the one speed up in the middle.
During the sample here, right before the stop, and then the build up back out of the stop. My guess is definitely that Old Donk, Greg, probably played this once on Ace to a Plus and went, yeah, I ain't doing that.
Get to the point where we have over 1,000 songs in modern DDR now. And unless you have constant access to the game, trying to stay up to date with all of these charts is really difficult. And even if you know them, being able to play and execute them is a whole nother thing. Yeah, so Vid just playing this straight, not using the boost strat like he did in the previous 2 songs, but there is a lesser variation of speed changes here, so not quite as necessary, and he still looks very comfortable with this.
Yeah, he had taken a big lead early.
Yeah, and these crossover gallops, 12-note crossover gallops, are so hard. Yeah, old Donk showing that I don't think is familiar with this chart.
He's got a grin on his face. He's like, yeah, I ain't doing this. I wonder if he went through the same series of emotions. He saw his old score and went, what does this chart do? Why do I have that score on it? And then started playing and went,
like,
oh, yeah, I don't like this.
And this part that speeds up here is so hard to lock in, and Vid is just nailing it. It's going to have this stop, which Vid gets right away. Yeah, and I think old Donk realized he doesn't stand a chance on this, not knowing the chart as well.
Yeah, he's like, nope.
Yeah, very clearly a Vid pick for good reason.
I mean, if somebody is going by the name like Old Donk or Boomer or like DDR Max 2, if they have those are their display names, you can probably assume I'm going to pick some new jank and ruin their day.
New jank on Old Donk. But yeah, this is very, very good MA from Vid.
You jank on my donk till I...
No. Extremely loud and correct buzzer sound. All right, so we're going to be moving into DDR Megamix, which was old Donk's pick. This is currently the longest song in the game. I think if it's not 230, it's 229.
236 or something.
Oh, it's over 230. Either way, it is the longest song in the game. It's a compilation of DDR songs from Extreme and older. So the expert chart is literally just a copy-paste of those charts.
Yep.
So old Donk's going to be familiar with those. Whether or not he can do the transitions between songs where there's speed changes well, we will see.
Yeah. Fun fact, though, there's 2 songs sampled in DDR Megamix that aren't in the game anymore, and you can't play them.
Yeah, we have Matsuri Japan, which, if you notice, the part that's sampled here does not have the vocals in it.
Yep.
And the other one was, is it Dive?
Correct.
Which is a very, very short sample before the long part. So Vid's going to use his boost strat, which we saw earlier worked so well for him. Seems to be very comfortable with it.
He's only up about 10.
And old Donk's choosing to play this on 2x, which that's going to make the LOM part very fast. But he's an old school player. I'm sure he knows LOM very well, so that shouldn't give him too many issues. Yeah, both of them very clean through this section. Vid up about 25 right now as we move into bag, which looks like old Donk's making some mistakes there. Most people aren't used to reading bag this slow. So the song goes all the way down to 65 BPM and then all the way up to 333 BPM. Very hard to find a comfortable speed mod.
That's what boost is for.
That's what boost is for. And we see Vid just flawlessly demonstrating how well this strat works on a variety of songs. And the slow down into this part is, I almost feel like one of the hardest parts to nail.
The sync in DDR Megamix kind of drifts all over the place, and if I remember correctly, that's where it kind of gets back to being early.
Okay. So we're going to move right into LOM for the rest of the song.
With random Trip Machine and Paranoia samples in the background.
Okay, so again, old Donk reading this at 2x, but he knows LOM, clearly showing that this is one of his songs from his days.
Yeah.
Picking up some misses though, so it might be a little too fast for him.
I think it is a little too fast for him.
All right, and
Vid
Vid's going to take that.
100, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a quick 2-0.
Yeah, Vid really showing his prowess with the songs with speed changes being his forte. 2 on DDR Megamix is very good.
All right, I'm going to jump back off and let Duncan jump back on.
All right, bye, Renalis.
Bye.
Hi.
And hello again, Duncan.
Hello, hello.
How was the food?
It was lovely. I'm trying not to have too much since I'll have to play in a couple hours.
That's fair.
Just just have one little taco, I guess.
So what's your strat in terms of fueling for DDR? How far ahead do you like to eat? What do you like to eat?
I like to be as hungry as possible while I play. If I am hungry or on an empty stomach, I tend to play better.
Really? I'm the exact opposite.
Yeah, if I fuel too much, I get lethargic. I start to crumble. So it usually doesn't go much beyond typically like a breakfast sandwich in the morning, maybe a power bar, and then throughout the day I have like runner's goo that I might have one of those and just replenish electrolytes and things like water throughout the day.
So do you use like goo while you're playing DDR, like in the treat sets?
So I usually bring 2. I'll have one kind of toward the back end. If I've been playing for like 4 or more hours, I'll have a goo to keep going if I feel like I need to replenish some of that, get a little boost. And then I'll have one kind of on the train home as well.
Yeah, I do the exact opposite. I eat a McChicken in the parking lot right before I step into round one.
I mean, you were saying we're built different, and I think
I have to eat like constantly. I cannot stand trying to do any exercise without like food actively in me. I don't know if that just comes from like my ultra running days. I'm used to literally eating while I exercise, so my body's just used to that, I guess.
Yeah. Everybody is so different.
I know.
Yeah, truly. Like most of the time during a tournament, I'm hungry while I'm playing. And then if I get promoted into another pool or two, I'm getting hungrier and hungrier, and I play better.
All right.
So yeah, I just had like a little scoop of corn and some one of the tacos that was over there, and I'm just gonna let that sit for the next 3 or 4 hours until I play.
All right, so we're jumping right into our first song here between Misuc and Sirius. If, very good song, very catchy.
Yes.
Recently had a challenge chart added, which is not in the game yet. I think that was a Grand Prix privilege pack that you had to purchase. But both of them showing that they are pretty comfortable with the song. It has some ambiguous patterning, so you definitely have to know which way to be turned to set up for some of these runs.
So far, they're both looking like they've been very prepared.
Yes, and they both are playing this on the faster side, so you can't see ahead at the speed that they're playing at. So they both definitely have to know, and they seem to have that knowledge pretty down pat.
A little bit of a break the song gives you here, but not for long.
Yeah, Misuc with a bit of a lead. As we've shown, Misuc has just been really dialed in since he started playing today. Yeah, both of them some really crisp steps.
Yeah.
And they're having no trouble at all being prepared for which way to be set up for these.
And while this song does have a relatively low note count overall, those ambiguous steps can tire you out a lot.
Yeah.
So it definitely is harder than I think it looks on stats.
Yeah, and both of them both made a couple mistakes, but Misuc is going to take the win on that. Oh, we got a very tricky song coming up next.
Compared to If, this is an entirely different category.
Yeah, man, Poochie has a lot going on. Looks like that was Misuc's protect, so I imagine he's got to be pretty comfortable with that.
Yeah, so Poochie, like you said, a couple things going on. One, and I think probably the most important, is the fact that it's 220 BPM.
Yeah, which is a little faster than you think. I don't think people realize how fast this song is if you're not used to playing it regularly.
Yeah, so when you couple 220 drills with the fact that it's during a very extended slowdown, it makes it very challenging. Most songs have a slowdown or speed up that is a couple seconds long or maybe 15 seconds, but this is like really splits half and half. So there's no way for you to kind of just lean into 1 BPM being more comfortable. Either you're going to be reading at 660 and 330, or you're going to be reading really low during that slowdown.
And there's these bursts that are really fast in this song.
And so interestingly, Misuc is actually reading at 3.25.
Oh,
so,
wow.
That is going to amount to 660 plus 45, so over 700 BPM when it does the speed up here.
The good news is the speed up is a pretty predictable pattern, so that's probably why he's getting away with being able to read so fast, because he knows what this pattern does. It moves very fluidly, so as long as you're familiar with that, you can get away with these faster speeds.
The problem is the second speed up, the end of the song, is a much less straightforward and predictable pattern. So I think it will be advantageous for Misuc here for the next 30 seconds or so while we're in 30 seconds or so while we're in the slowdown. But it'll be up to him to hold on to the lead coming out into the speed up.
But yeah, those drills in the slowdown, they don't look fast because it's a slow speed, but they are so fast to nail accurately. And both of these players are doing a really phenomenal job with this slowdown.
And also, it seems like it should speed up about 8 counts before it does.
Yeah.
And then it continues to be slow for a little bit. Oh, we didn't speed up yet.
Yeah, it's definitely a large chunk of the song that's at the slower speed, so you definitely have to be comfortable reading that.
And even this part, which seems like it would be more straightforward, it's all crossed over, so it like doesn't give you an opportunity to recover your body as much as you want to. So Misuc with a healthy lead here, as long as he can hold on and not get tripped up by the fast speed on these tricky patterns toward the end, and some of those tough drills that you have to do crossed over backwards, I think he'll be able to hold on. If there's anything I've learned, don't bet against Misuc.
Yeah, I don't think I saw anything less than a marvelous during that one run. Making a couple mistakes over on Misuc's side, probably with the speed he's reading at, but not enough to give Sirius any chance to catch up.
Yep. Great play from both of them. Such a hard and tiring song to do in tournament.
Really, really good performance by both of them. Yeah, so Misuc clearly showing he knows that song, being able to read it at that speed, but definitely worked in his favor.
983 and 972 money scores. Ooh, that is probably the hardest 16 to score on.
Yeah, I say that's definitely probably on what, the 16.9 of the DDR challenge tier list. So definitely a very, very late 16 PFC and one of the trickier ones for sure.
Yeah, and this thing's not particularly off, but it does drift a little bit in there. So.
Sure.
And a round of applause for our TO, whose tournament is coming to a close, I believe.
The physical side of the tournament.
Physical side of the
he
tournament.
still has plenty more to do. Do not get us wrong.
The hard work continues.
Yes. There's no rest for TOs.
Yeah. And you see him behind us. He's settling in and saying, okay, like now it's time to get back to work.
Yeah, so most players, you know, they finish their matches, they get to go sit down, socialize with their friends. He's getting right back. He didn't even sit down. He's going right back there to work.
He just took the gloves off, threw him to the side, and said, step aside, everybody.
Like, he didn't even give himself a breather. So he is a very hard worker, doing a tremendous job. So huge shout out to Aaron, Sirius, for putting this event on, and also having a phenomenal showing as well.
Yeah, I mean, like we said earlier, it had been running smooth, and it continues now to run smooth.
Yes.
It doesn't let up at all. Everything is going super well. And, you know, we've had other elements coming in with the food, and now the crowd is getting larger, and yet things continue to move and flow. And so just a huge shout out.
Yeah, definitely.